Hey everyone, welcome to Shifty's Club. Today I'm going to talk about exactly what I promised, part 2 of the video game How to Build Rogue and Go Tier 1. Now, many of you know that the Pokemon Company International had announced that all Pokemon were able for use in all regions with the exception of Mewtwo, Mew, Lugia-Ho, Celebi, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, Deoxys, Jirachi, Fiona, Manaphy, Darkrai, Shaman, Arceus, Palkia, Dialga, and Kyurem. Or I'm sorry, not Palkia. Giratina and all them. Let's see. Also got Kyurem, Zekrom, Reshiram. Basically, those Pokemon. If you need more information, you can go to Pokemon.com and go to the video game section and look up rules and regulations for tournaments. But what I thought I'd hit on today is get back to where I left off last episode. For those of you who watch video game only, last episode I was talking about how you used different stats to figure out what Pokemon you want to use, such as you had a high special attack stat on a Chandelure, then you matched it perfectly because that's Chandelure's high stat. That's what it excels in. Now, you may want to just keep that stat like it is and work on the stats that it doesn't have that are perfect. But you still seem to be doing that at tournaments. I mean, take from perspective. Say you had a Minshao. You had it ready for a tournament and you're ready to go. You open up the battle with it and then you command jump kick. It misses. You would EV train it well in attack and speed. It was the fastest, most powerful Pokemon you had ever had. Next attack, not super effective, just a regular attack, knocks out Minshao one hit. Now where's your defense or special defense? And that's what we'll cover today. And it's not so much as raising those stats individually, but it's about basically finding Pokemon in the wild or hatching them to where they have all these great stats. And this is used by a process called RNG Manipulation. Now RNG stands for random number generator, but this is a pseudo term which identifies it as a false random number generator, because the RNG is not really a random number at all. It's a mathematical formula that outputs for what Pokemon you get with a certain IV yield. Now me, I'm 4-time math team captain at North Forsyth High School from August 2005 to May 2009. So yeah, pretty much I know everything there's about math. But and if you see me at a tournament and I'm trying to focus, I'm calculating the damage or in my head and I'm thinking of alternate ways. So yeah. But enough of that. But this really isn't mathematical at all. All you do is input numbers and different types of data into a program, and there you go. You get a certain Pokemon at a certain point, but you have to do some of the work yourself. Now, most people really wouldn't know how to do this, so I'm going to help you do the first part, and the rest of it, once you get the first part, you should be fine working on the rest of it. The way we do this is to make sure we have a personal computer next to us, and we need a Nintendo DS or Nintendo DS Lite. 3DS or DSIs or DSXLs are not usable. Make sure you have a black or white game card, and what you'll need to do is go into the game and make sure you have a fungus. If you don't have one, you go to Route 6 and catch one, and if it's not at level 24, then just when it appears, if it's not level 24, let it go, keep catching it until it's level 24 or over. That way it'll have the move Sweet Scent, and that's what you want since the only Pokemon that you catch in the wild is Sweet Scent. Now Amoonguss might, but since it's already at level 40, it might have forgotten Sweet Scent by that time. So we're not going to take any chances. We're just going to catch a Fungus at that level. If you already have a Pokemon with Sweet Scent, great. Put it in your party and go to the PC as soon as you can. You want to leave one slot open. You need a Pokemon with Fly, a Pokemon with Sweet Scent, and just any other one Pokemon. And what we'll do with this is we're going to go to Victory Road, and or not Victory Road, we're going to fly to the Pokemon League, and with the one Sweet Scent Pokemon and the one Fly Pokemon and one extra slot in your party, we're going to go down back towards Victory Road, towards the end cave, and as soon as you enter, you'll go to that cave and you'll have 2 stairs. I'm going to do this as if you were watching me. This is the left. Of course, this is your left, my right. This is your left, and this is your right. Take the left set of stairs going down, and then you'll come down. You'll make your way down and have 2 options: a boulder pushed into the floor, or you'll go the other way. You want to go the other way out into another cave, and that is where Terrakion lives. If you have not caught Terrakion, don't worry about it right now. If you have, well, that's okay. It's just a little small room, and it doesn't really matter whether it's there or not. Okay, and at this point you will save the game, and then you'll turn off your game. Now you have set yourself up for RNG manipulation, calibration process. Now what you will do is you will take your personal computer, find internet somewhere, or if you have a flash drive in another friend's computer, you can download from smogon.com, SMOGON.com. You go to Smogon Home, in-game, RNG Manipulation, and then it'll take you to black and white RNG Manipulation, with a list of different RNG manipulations. If you go to the part 1, you can download the RNG Reporter program version 9.81. But if you download a earlier version, when you extract it with WinZip and open it up, it'll have to where you can download the new one. Now I'll take you to that later. To download WinZip, just type in, go to google.com and type in WinZip and see if you can get a free trial, or if you already have it on your computer, you could use Zip Wizard, but I don't know if your computer is that old or not. So you can go to the WinZip application. Don't go directly to the RNG Reporter zip file. You want to go into WinZip and then choose to open, and then pull an RNG Reporter 9.81 beta. Then you would obviously extract it to the exact same file, or the file of your choice. Make sure you keep a note where the file is, and then you would open the program. Make sure you have it open. Okay, now go to the internet and go to google.com and type in Metal Kid, all one word, space IV space calc, and hit enter, and then it'll pop up a place where you can type in your Pokemon stats and find out what their IVs are. And for this, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we can find the exact individual values, IVs, of a Pokemon, and figure out whether that Pokemon came from a list of series, which it should have been, from your game, and a seed that it took to get that Pokemon, which is the mathematical formula. It's a 16-digit seed, and that represents what how the Pokemon came out. Now, if you don't know what IVs are, EVs, or anything like that, you can look it up on bulbapedia.bulbagarden.net, and it's a really good website. And for now, I'm just going to assume that you know what IVs and EVs are and all that stuff. So now that you have Metal Kids IV Calc opened online, you have the RNG Reporter downloaded on your computer and open, and you have your video game with you. Now, what you must do first is open up your game, start the game, make your way to the continue screen, but do not press continue. You have options, continue, new game, and so on and so forth, and you'll have like Wi-Fi settings. So you'll hit that, and then you'll go to options, and then after you get through the options, you'll have system information. Click A or tap on it, and then you'll have a DS MAC address, and this is probably the most important part for finding or for calibrating your DS for RNG manipulation. Now, write it down without the dashes. Forget the hyphens. Hyphens or dashes, they're the same thing. There's little lines that connect those two letters to another two, and so on and so forth. So you would write it down, just the numbers and letters. Some are safe, or you can type it into a notepad program and save it onto your desktop so you'll have easy access to it. And what you would do with this is, when you opened up RNG Reporter, you would click Find Parameters or Find DS Parameters and click it, and you would copy and paste that exact letter number sequence for your DS MAC address into the appropriate field in the far right hand side, and that is basically step one. Now you would turn your game off, obviously, after you had stored your MAC address, saved, and then put it in. And now, the most important part for this would be to open up your game and make sure that your game isn't on auto load. You need to have it manual, and this is important because if you don't, it'll screw up your RNG manipulation calibration process completely. Now, may I stress that you write down the exact time as what you have right now, but you need to know the exact time that you press that A button on that game, and we'll get to that in a second. But once you have make sure you're at the screen, you've set it up to manual. So now you're gonna go back to the screen, and you're gonna go to where you have Pokemon Black or Pokemon White, and then you have a GBA option, and so on and so forth. Now, this is important. You need to look at the time on the clock, and I suggest waiting to the 25-second mark. When that time hits 25 seconds, what you do is press A at that time, and make sure you know what the minutes, or you know what hour minute it is. Now, I'm going to stress this too. If it's 3:30 a.m. in your game, what you need to do is make sure that you put 3:30:25, because you'll be pressing the A button at the 25-second mark. But if it's 3:30 p.m., you would be putting 15. If you get what if you know what I mean, it's because you put 15:30:25 for 3:30:25, and the reason why is because the game, if you put 3:30:25 and it's PM on your clock or DS clock, it will think you're saying AM, and it goes by the 24-second clock, 24-hour clock. So therefore, you need to make note of that and stress that importance out. Next, what you will do is you will, after you've noted the time, you will place that in to the RNG Reporter, and you will note the exact month, day, year, hour, minute, and second that you press that A button. Because there's nothing more important than the time that you press that A button. You must know that information down to the second. And once you have put all the information in, what I stress is that you do this while the game is loading to the Game Freak screen, which means do not press the A button until you have the screen that says the Pokemon Company International or whatever. When that first screen pops up, leave it be, let it load to the next one that shows the 1995 to 2011 Pokemon Company and all that. It's a black screen with all that crap that you see in every game. Let that screen go off and then pop up. So don't press any buttons during that time. I need to stress that as much as I can. If you look at the RNG Reporter program, it'll note that there's a place for buttons held, and may I stress that you do not hold any buttons there, and you make sure those are set to none. So with that being said, you would then load the game as normal. Once you get to the third screen where you see the little rocket flare like psh, and the Game Freak falls, that's when it's safe to press A button, and then come to the Restaurant Zekrom start menu, press the A button again or start, whichever one you feel comfortable with, and then continue the game. I will stress this point too. Do not turn on C gear. To save your life, it will screw up your RNG manipulation calibration process completely. Do not turn it on. Make sure you click no, you don't want to turn it on, and if it says you're missing the requirements or something like that, is it okay? Yeah, of course. You don't want C gear. May I say that enough times. So now that you know, you're on the screen and you press Y button as soon as the game loads, and you will select Pokemon. Then you select your Fungus or Mungus or Pokemon with Sweet Scent and have it use Sweet Scent on the field. Now, as soon as you do, your position should be as soon as you walk into that cave, and you should be right there at the exit. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just saying it's a lot easier. So as soon as you Sweet Scent, Pokemon will come up, and what you do is catch it as fast as possible. I recommend you use Dusk Balls because they're a lot easier, and most Pokemon in that cave will be caught with a Dusk Ball on the first try. Some of them might take 3 or 4 tries, but most of the time you can get it in 1 try, which is pretty sweet to be a cave Pokemon at that level. And once you catch that Pokemon, select Y again, press Pokemon. Now go to that Pokemon and press for Summary, and what you will do is open the Metal Kids IV Calc or Calculator online, and then you will fill in the information such as the Pokemon itself. Then you'll enter their nature, you'll enter their characteristic, and then you will enter their ability, as well as their gender, and then you will go down and enter their level. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you must change that to whatever level it was, such as say it was a level 40 Durant. Just say it was, not saying it is, but say it was. Say I caught a level 40 Durant, I'd put 40 in the level, and then I'd put its stats, such as like the HP. I'd put I put the exact HP into that column, and then I'd do attack, defense, special defense, and speed, and then I'd click validate all just to make sure it shows the OK next to it onto the very far right at the end of the row. So I'd click calculate towards the bottom, and then scroll down, and it'll give you your list of IV ranges for each of those categories of HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. So what you do here is you would in that same screen that you had for finding DS parameters, you would enter the minimum values, which are the lower values in the range. You would enter them up top on the top row where the min's at, and then you'd enter each value individually, and then you'd look at the maximum values. However, sometimes you'll have ranges but sometimes you'll have single numbers, and they will be basically like, say I had a range of 5 to 6 or 10 to 14, but I only had like a 12 in defense, and there was no other numbers following. So you'd leave that max alone, because it automatically puts 12 for the max once you put the min in for the IV range. So you would input each of those numbers correctly, and then you'd make sure that you have those correct, your exact time that you press the A button. You'd make sure you'd selected your game type, your DS slider original, and then you put in your MAC address correct, and you have no buttons held, and you leave that column alone where it shows V frame and timer 0 and all that information. Leave that alone, and then you'd press to search, and you should come up with one possible solution, and this is the one that you write down on a piece of paper. I suggest that you don't do this on a computer unless you have an Excel program, but I do it on a piece of paper. Do this about 3 times, not the exact Pokemon, but the exact process that I mentioned. You don't have to set up and everything all the way to the point where I said for you to note the exact time that you press the A button. Anything from there up. So basically, as soon as you got through, type in all their IVs and everything, and then you found the seed, the second count, the timer 0, the V frame, and everything, write all that information down on like a piece of scratch paper, and make sure you put them in a row. That way a row or a column, that way you could easily identify which solution you had. Like you had one that was your first trial, you would put obviously for that one, and then you'd go again, and as soon as you figure out for that Pokemon, turn it off. Don't save with that Pokemon in your party unless it's a perfect Pokemon, which that almost never happens. So you turn it off and repeat the process. You push A the exact second, note the time, and erase the time of the first trial with the one in the second trial, and then go ahead, catch a Pokemon in the cave, and then bring up the screen, go to Metal Kids IV Calc, type all the information in that I told you about before, and then get the IVs and put them back into the Find DS parameters, and do it again, and you should come up with a second solution. And I'd suggest doing this 3 times. And if you're there's a, not badly wrong, I think it's a there should be 3 letter / number combination, and it's mine was C7C, and yours will vary depending on your depending on all of your information for your system. But there's going to be 3 digits, and these 3 digits are alone. Now one of them should be 6, 6. The other one should be 60. The other one should be a 16-digit C. The other one's a 3-digit, and the other one just tells the number of seconds that you actually had for hitting the game. Now I'm going to get to this one first. The seconds that you had should show 26 since you started the game at 25. So for future reference, if you were to hit the A button at the 25 mark, your time that you hit the time you hit the button should be 25. Only if the time that you're supposed to hit the button, or the time it's supposed to load, is 26. So say I was to at 12 o'clock p.m. with 38 seconds. Say that was my time to hit a Pokemon that I wanted. And you'll get to this later on after you've completed calibration. Now, the only reason to go 3 trials with what I said was so you could get that 3-digit code that you needed. If all 3 were the same for if that code was the same for all 3 trials, good. If not, go another one until you get 3 of the exact same, and that should pretty much be a good sign. Now, may I say that when you do this in the game, you need to make sure, and I make absolutely sure, that whenever you get that 3-digit code, you need to make sure that later on when you put it in, you need to start that game at the second before it's supposed to happen. Such as if my time was 12 o'clock with 38 seconds to get what I wanted, I would press the A button at the 12 o'clock with 37 seconds. That way I'd have 1 second to go, and then the frame would load, boom, right there. And then it starts to go on. So I thought I'd just say that for future reference. Now, if you don't really understand much about the RNG manipulation process, there are a lot of people that know how to do it. There's especially at your league, there should be some people. But if you absolutely don't know anyone or need some help, I mean, feel free to contact me on my YouTube account. I'll try to help you the best I can. I make sure that I respond to all emails, regardless who sends, and I just want to make sure that I help all of you guys. That's the whole reason why I made this channel, is to try to help all the little guys that needed my help. Now, hopefully I explained it good enough to where you could get it going by yourself. Now, calibration is important, but this will help you learn that, hey, I can do this, and I can check my IVs, and I know the exact time that I do this and that, and that's pretty much the way it's supposed to be. Now, I hate to sit here for hours and describe to you how to get the rest of it going. So, if you go to smoggin.com and then go to in game and then RNG mechanics and then go to BWRNG mechanics, and it's basic, and it'll basically take you through all of it for the black and white version. Don't try hard gold soul silver. It is just basically almost impossible unless you got the you have to have the second down to the 30th of a second. So yeah, it's pretty hard. Now I'm about to go ahead and let you guys go, but before then, I just wanted to say next episode won't be more on RNG manipulation, but it'll be on after you have found the Pokemon that you wanted with the perfect IVs or the shininess or everything. That's for you to do on Smoggin, because I can't do 100 videos on it, so I'm really sorry. But if there's any questions you have, don't hesitate to email me about. And also, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe and submit any comments that you have in the comment section down below. And thanks for watching, and I'll be back with part 3 sometime probably next week. So I'll see you then. Shift these clubs.